Test, test, test. Welcome, everyone. We know some of your faces, we've seen before. Some people who promised to come, they have come. Today we have the opportunity to talk a little bit about our company. Valiati is here, and we'll be watching your presentations. Luciano, Ricardo, internal market, quality with Gois, Caio, our kind of new here for 1 year HR director. We're going to talk about the company. We are a little bit delayed, so this is what we're going to do today. You have your welcome. So let me go straight ahead to what I wanted to say. So thinking about 2023, when we talked about how we could see 2024 plan, you can see it on the left side. So what happened was we needed consistent results. We needed actions to recover the last 3-4 years. It was a positive result to it was a very consolidated result what we got here last year. So G8 was responsible for this. The new bus generation would bring good results for the business. G8 was a courageous decision during the pandemic for us. So since 2021, we have sold over 5,000 G8 sold, over 1,000 buses sold on the external market. It's a very consolidated product in Latin America. Most of our sales, at least half of our sales, are for double deckers. Some of you are here today. You can see it's a very special product. We can add value. And this is something we wanted to see how it would be on the market. So double decker has been strongly inserted in the market. I'm not gonna go into detail because Guys is gonna talk about it, but it brings a lot of results to the company. And in my next slide, I want to tell you about the need we have for the sales. Soon I'm going to be mentioning it. There have been, so you can see what happened. We have plus 11.2% of units delivered and 2% of volumes produced. We were also talking about the full electric units, what we needed in the market. São Paulo needed a renovation, one of the biggest rolled fleet. They needed 2,600 buses. We believed this would be coming to us, but slowly, and that's what has happened. We took this opportunity to show our product. We have sold an integral electric vehicle. We've been selling chassis, bus body solution, and also now we are delivering a full integral solution. And in this growing moment, we have tested and promoted this vehicle. And a TV, our product, has already been seen in many cities in Brazil. We have 8 units in Porto Alegre, a few in São Paulo as well. It's a really nice process. And we have found alternatives to compensate this lower volume in electric with other products, and this has brought us profitability. We were also talking about profitable international operations. After the pandemic, we could see that there would be a good opportunity. This opportunity has come. You're going to see when Goyce talks, he's going to show you. Before, we were having bad results in our international operations, and right now they are finally profitable. This is the result of several actions we have taken, and also our Caminho da Escola, the Way to School project. We had a tender of about 15,000 buses, and we're going to be mentioning it soon. We worked strongly in volume. We had basically half of it, 7,600 units. And in 2024, we had a lower volume than what we had estimated. So with the electric buses and way to school buses came to us in lower volumes than expected. But we talked about it in our meetings. We were wondering if it would be 6, 5, 4,000, but it's going to be less than 3,000 this year. And probably part of this volume, these figures, will be for the next year. I guess most of you know the slide. It shows the evolution in bus body. Here you can see Volare. What we have here is internal market and then external market and Volare in blue since 2010. And you can see historically from 2010 to 2014, there was a lot of incentive. Brazil brought incentives, the government brought incentives, and there was a relevant growth in the industry. Obviously, this was an anticipation in purchase, and that brought us for in the coming years lower volumes in sales because they had bought everything beforehand. And in this process, we get 25,000 units in 2019, and we were expecting 2020 to be the best year in our history, but then there was the pandemic, and we know the bus industry was very affected. And now we can see the recovery. The message here is you can see how cyclic it is. We can see that there is never a continuous growth. There are complications, different in populations, different in the urban landscape. So the needs change. We have to renew our fleet, but think about the cost of the operation that increases. And recently we have been adding the decarbonization. So there is not always a continuous growth in our sector. You can see the curve as a trend. It will be of a continuous growth now. We see that in 2024 we have a 20% growth comparing it to the previous year, and we can see we are talking about close numbers. Our numbers are close to what it was in 2019. For 2025, it's still going to be similar to 2019. So you can see our sector has not increased so much. There is still room for growth. The company result, because of all of the structured actions we have taken, the results are better. They are positive. This is the opportunity we can see in the growth, in the continuous renovation of the fleet, and we will have good opportunities coming. And where we find ourselves nowadays, there is a consistent demand in Brazil. There will be more growth There is an opportunity for renovation. There will be a transition. We are talking about the transition from flying to taking buses. This brings us opportunities. Marcopolo brings a safe, comfortable vehicle. People who use this system, they like it. It's easy to buy a bus ticket. This helps the continuous growth and the need to renew the fleet. So, on our view, it is very positive for our sector. International operations is the same. They also have been through the same process. They also had to decrease their operation. There was a decrease in the fleet, internationally speaking. And when we talk about competition, our competition was really hurt in this period. And during the pandemic, globally speaking, many bus body manufacturers were hurt, and we have some of the big players, which used to be our competition in international markets, bleeding. And we see this need in the renovation of the international fleet. It's good because we've been adjusting our international operations and we've been adjusting price. And this is the fleet renovation with our capacity to be ahead of the competition, bring something interesting in on the international operations. Next, it's the growing volumes of electric vehicles. We've broken some of the barriers in order for the system to be renewed from diesel to electric. It is it is challenging. We know that paying for this, getting a loan for this is a challenge as well. We have problems sometimes, but the government has been incentivizing it. And another barrier was the recharging infrastructure. Brazil is really big, so depending on the region, it can be challenging. But Marcopolo is bringing this solution. We've been selling like we did in Porto Alegre and São Paulo. And I want to highlight that we manufacture the bus body. The electric chassis is from one of our partners. It could be an European partner, for instance. We will keep on working with chassis and bus body and finding solutions for an integral vehicle. This is also very positive when we think about electric consumption. We have been consolidating the G8. Next, I want to mention the increased delivery of new products. Marcopolo has been investing in its portfolio. We are profitable. We have good cash flow. If we look at what the company did in the last Latbus event in São Paulo, we brought a lot of products to the segment. We have launched Atari, a Flight 12 that is a bigger attack. We have renewed the interior of the electric vehicle. We have brought innovation to G8. The company has been investing in product, and we truly believe this is the way. This is the sustainable way to deliver value, and then we can add it in price. This is something we bring a lot to the table. That's the sustainability of the results, the demand, the growth demand. Some For us to perform well, we need to align the price to our cost as well. The offering value we bring to the market. This makes Marco Polo stand out. Having more passengers to system. This is what we see as, as a key. This brings value to the client. The client ends up in a win-win position. I've been recently talking a lot about what we did in pricing is our investment in products, and that is the result of our investment now. We have currently profitable international operations in Mexico, in Argentina, Australia. These are international operations where we've worked strongly and now we can see the results. In 2024, it's been really good. The expectations for 2025 are also really good. We'll still see an interesting opportunity of renovation of fleet in those markets, and where there is competitivity, we can work on. It will be relevant when we have consolidated products in the market. We have introduced new products in Colombia, a new model of G8 for Mexico, and G8 in South Africa as well. So, growing demand, consolidated product in the market, this is important for us. The Caminho da Escola, that's the school bus, we will take part of this tender process to 2025. We have gotten a reposition and a renegotiation in price. This program, government program, will keep on existing, and we have to deliver this volume without too much extra work in our labor force. Marco Polo has been preparing its operation to meet the needs of this program because it is and has been really relevant for us since 2023. Now, our labor force has been trained and we are reaching for better efficiency for our results. For 2025, our vision is a bigger volume considering 2024, but with more efficiency. That's where we can gain, that's where we can win. We also have investments in products and factory modernization. What we've been doing is launching products, and you'll see that in this 3-4 year period, you'll see there will be new launches. We are structuring our team. Our engineering team is stronger and stronger. They're capable of delivering new products. We have a lot of development coming in the coming years, and also the shop floor. One of our pillars for growth is efficiency on the shop floor. And we have an interesting idea of how we are going to grow in the market, but we see the opportunity of improving efficiency. Automation helps in this process. We have been investing in avoiding our bottlenecks, gaining competitiveness, preserving safety of our employees, reducing bottlenecks, I repeat myself. And this is going to bring us a gain in efficiency in the coming years. With all of this need in the renewal of the fleet, and when the efficiency is low, we have this opportunity to improve it. This will help us with cost. I've talked a lot about efficiency here and consistent and sustainable results. That's what we've been talking for a long time. In the past 5 years, the actions we've taken for consolidating operations, cost reduction, preparing labor, automation, launching new products, getting into new segments, as João is going to show us how we got into the electric market. I'll let him comment on that. This has been bringing good opportunities to the company. I've shown this slide in other occasions. Marcopolo is a company for people and by people. Paulo Bellini, back in the day when he started this company, you'll see on our walls if you come to the plant, the culture of the company's people. In our segment, we need strong labor. We employ over 15,000 people around the globe. And we need to train people, invest in people. This is key in order to deliver with competitiveness, with quality. We have been working on this culture. Caio, as HR director, is here to help us in this process, to bring this new culture. We need to work in a transparent way, bringing the problems to the table and finding solutions. This is really important. In a company our size, you need to have a strong strategic team, and the implementation has to have a follow-up. It's an open process. We need to participate so we can bring results to the company. I always mention that we are in the mobility segment, so we need to find solutions. Public transportation is really important because of the growing population. We need to be environmentally responsible. Marcopolo finds and brings the electric solution, and also we have alternatives. We are not putting all our bets in one coin only. In São Paulo, we could see that we are in an interesting way. We have to be environmentally responsible. When public transport renews its fleet, it has already to be in an environmentally correct way. People want more comfort, more safety, and we have opportunities in here. We are focusing on people and also on engineering. We say that Marcopolo is not only a bus body manufacturer, we are also an engineering company. Our engineering department has grown significantly. When we say the company is developing chassis, it means we have to develop the expertise in technology. We are very focused on research and development. Soon we're going to hear more about it. We're very focused. This is being a state-of-the-art company. We want to bring people together. This is our main goal and our mission, our vision. We want to be the protagonist in sustainable mobility solutions, and we want to bring it into the market. And when we talk about people, more and more we are specializing our team, we are bringing knowledge, and in 2025 it has to be in a sustainable way. We see that the investment in these past years is generating better results and efficiency, and we've been working for optimizing this. This is just the opening. Now our team is going to talk, and then you have time for questions. Nice to meet you, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Once again, thank you for being here today. It's an excellent opportunity for us to talk more about Marcopolo, to answer your questions, and nothing better than that is having you around our factories, seeing what we've been doing, our demands, check our products, understand the attributes of value that consequently will show our performance is based on that. Andre mentioned, made an introduction on the main points that have been bringing us profitability and growth. Something interesting to highlight is that we're delivering until September this year at least, basically a net revenue that is very close to what we delivered in 2023 as a whole, without having as much volume. Something that we had been speaking to you since the beginning of the year. We talked about a potential of 5 to 6,000 years of the Caminhos de Escola program buses. And in fact, we are delivering, considering the revenue, better results than we had in 2023. And we know that until September, we had already delivered as much as you can see on the screen. We are growing. It is in line with what André said. The level we have in the market is still under what we had seen in previous years, historically speaking. So if we make an average, we are now starting to have a scenario where the fleet will be around, will be continuated from this year on. So this is something interesting. When we take a look at this horizon of long term, what is important to highlight? The company has grown in net revenue. Mainly in 2021 to 2022, we see a jump. We had an impact in inflation. We know that in that moment, steel, that is a commodity we use a lot, we had around 160% increase. So by distributing costs, we had a huge impact. And it made us price things better, considering all the impacts. And also the transformation we've had internally made us more profitable. What is important to highlight is this revenue is composed basically by bus bodies. 80% means bus bodies for us. And this is interesting because, as Andrea mentioned, and Luciano will bring again, we'll have a series of things we've been working on for the integral bus. The electric options we are releasing and circulating with our first vehicles. We have been seeing their performance is delivering in what big brands have been delivering as well, considering electric vehicles. It gives us a KPI that as long as Brazil is effectively growing in electrification, we have a strong potential there to aggregate revenue in this scenario we are bringing to you. Remember that the electric bus costs much more than a diesel vehicle, and 80% of our net revenue is only about bus bodies. This scenario, when we see, this is only about Brazil, about other countries we see similar scenarios. So from the pandemic period to now, most of these countries haven't renewed their fleets highly. So we see some interesting movements coming up. If we think about Transmilenio in Colombia and others in Argentina with renewal potential very strongly, Australia with the Olympic Games. So we see this scenario of potential fleet renewals, not only in Brazil, but also in international markets. Guys is going to bring us some more information about it later. We'll bring
our consolidated figures will bring some important results. In Brazil, it represents 70% of our revenue this year. The others come from international operations and others. We see that, in fact, when we start seeing the performance considering profitability, we start bringing the international operations to the same standards of the Brazilian operation as well. We start now talking a little bit about our gross profit. I use this gross profit to understand our price pass-through potential, so we can understand how much we can aggregate the price considering the costs that we have that are variable and also about direct labor. So that power we had on the pricing more because of inflation, adding to the attributes that we have been bringing in our products considering development and new technologies, it has been allowing us to effectively make our profitability to what we used to deliver in the past between 2015 and 2022. So the gross profit show us these standards to 23% last year, and what we have been seeing the last 3 quarters is a gross profit around 21 and 26%. We perceive that it's not going to lower in the future. I always mention that this variation of mix change, this portfolio and things have also interfere, but our clients are satisfied. The client of our client, the passenger, they have been looking for attributes of value in their choice of using the bus to commute to places. We always have the challenge to adequate our lines to produce these mixes, to assemble them. So anyhow, we see some volatility, but this margin is supposed to continue stable, not to go down. It's important to highlight the change we had that we have been discussing over the last 3 years to be effectively adding value and also charging on the same standard, on a fair way with our clients. This is a turnkey point. This year, we are seeing it also in the international operations. We've spoken strongly in the Marcopolo Day of last year. We saw that in Australia and Argentina. The process we had designed for Brazil were being developed there as well. So until we could get everything ready and consistent, it would take a little time. And we also have the peculiarities of each geography. But what we see today is that the scenario in general, the orders that we see in all units are profitable. And as long as this process is going through and all are in the same standard, we will be observing more adherence, not only considering revenue, but also considering net revenue, net profit. In 2024, you are going to see the results soon with GOIS. So this is a very positive result considering gross profit. We don't see many challenges coming up front. Going back to what we have already mentioned with you about efficiency opportunities, the learning curve. In here, we might have more opportunities. We have a new workforce. Most of them are here with us for 1 to 3 years. We've changed the way we organized ourselves as a factory. Until very little ago, we were more specialized for urban, for Volare, for coach buses. And what we've been doing strongly is to bring improvements to our lines in the idea of making them flexible. So we could have different mixes of products without bottlenecks. So let's imagine that we hire new people, then we might have the older scenario where we had lower efficiency and dependence on volumes. So it challenges our operators, our assemblers, so they can work in diverse products and we can scale, we can provide them more expertise. We've been working strongly in process. Considering EBITDA, we also see consistency. The work that has been done provides not only the price pass-through, increasing costs, but also the investments we've been making. This is important when we start recognizing Marcopolo's product as a product, one of the best products that we have in the market. We see that we have value that makes these products stand out. We have more than 5,000 G8s on the roads. It started in 2021, and the clients who bought it back then starts renewing. What justifies the maintenance of price and the appetite for more purchases with the price that we have now is the maintenance of the sales price. We see people working in the idea of Marco Polo keeping its brand in a high price standard. And the scenario we have also helps us perform in this way. Consequently, when we take a look at EBITDA margins, we see consistency in these deliveries, and the work we've been doing internally is to see these figures always better. We want to work with more efficiency, we want to work with healthy international operations, the ones that are not consolidated, that are only considered the we only consider the amount we have in their shares. They are also performing positively. We know that the challenge is mainly with this learning curve and the mix of products, as I mentioned before. When we take a look at profitability, Marco Polo is very disciplined in the idea of allocating capital. We've been working thoroughly to deliver more products, more value attributes, more technology, so the passenger that uses this bus can verify, can see that's the type of transport they feel comfortable for himself, for his family, that will make him commute in a way that he doesn't miss, mainly for the long roads, the long commuting, anything from airlines. When we see that air has been having lots of issues over these last few years, we see the offer of tickets nowadays is sometimes even prohibited, considering long distance flights for tourism. And we see that the bus is an alternative solution. It aggregates value to the family, to being to places with safety and comfort. This is something that allows us to see our profitability positively and see that we have good unique selling points to provide them. So we've been focusing not only on that, but also in product and process. As we said before, Marco Polo knows that people are important, but the focus is process and product. We are an engineering company. We know how much we deliver value to our clients. most of the times when talk, we talk about designs to compare different products with competitors. But talking about product, we have a team that analyzes all details to see how we can bring more comfort and more safety to the passenger and the driver, because the driver is circulating with that capital good around for our operators. So this is something the G8 has brought the driver to a new standard of safety and comfort, and we have been working on the same thing for other products in our portfolio. We have the roadmap of projects that is well designed for the next few years. We know that what we deliver of value in the G8, we want to replicate for microbuses, for urban buses, for chartering vehicles. The decarbonization route that we have in Brazil, that we have been starting, and we are going to have it coming to reality soon, will provide us the possibility of growing even more, because we are effectively involved in projects that will allow us to deliver value not only to the bus body but also to the integral solution when we talk about electric buses, hybrid options, and different types of alternative propulsions. So our project is focused on working in the house so we can bring these improvements. And when we talk about process, of course, we want to reduce our learning curve more and more, which is a necessity we have. The process is it's handmade, but we have been trying to automate things, components, when possible. We have been investing highly on it. You're going to see, we have been talking about it. Our capex is 350 million. Next year, we might have an increase on that as well. So we can keep pushing it hard, considering product and process, uh, increasing our results, because we see that nowadays what our competitive advantage to our competitors allows us or somehow pushes us to work intensively on the development of new solutions so we can effectively be a protagonist in mobility solutions. So that's all. Now I'm going to call Ricardo and I'm here for your questions. Thank you.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll be talking about the Brazilian market. It is a special moment for the market and for Marcopolo. We've been celebrating 75 years of Marcopolo, and we can see that along this year we've found opportunities the market has given us. We also are using these actions as a support for the coming years for relationship in the market. I've tried to make it quick for my presentation. So first of all, I want to talk about our Brazilian bus market. This graph is very similar to what Andre has shown you at the beginning. This is just about registered vehicles. I'm not talking about exportation yet. So just what has been registered. You can see that the curve in this graph is similar to what Andre had shown. It's what we have already mentioned. The oscillation in the previous years, from 2015 onwards, we had seen a decrease until 2019, and then in 2019 things were going well, but then the pandemic hit. This year we are expecting about 23,000 buses. I think this is going to be the best year in this past 10 years, and we are making a diversity in segments. It is different from last year. We can see growth in each of the segments. It's going to be the highest volume in the last 10 years. Annual growth of around 10%. If we think November and December, which are not still in this graph, it is going to be around 10%. In the coming years, we hope we see 2025 with all pillars, and we expect at least the same results as 2024 and opportunities for 2025 in the urban sector. We have opportunities. That's the information we have up to now. That's what the market has been showing when we talk to clients, when we talk to the players looking at 2025. We see a nice horizon. We can also see a perspective of volume because of what André has already mentioned. The average age of the fleet. And there will be also a lot of maintenance in the coming years. So if I think about segments, I'm going to mention first road and tourism because there was a migration from the air sector. In 2024, it was very significant. It has happened in a continuous way. And it's really interesting for us and for the passengers. A lot of tourism travel, people have changed, and maybe it's their first time they travel by bus, and now they decide they will keep on doing it. Most cases, they are using better services. This has been very, very positive for our clients in the market. Also, the post-pandemic renewal with the cost for air travel being so high, we see a trend now and for the future. So people will be doing tourism by bus. As we have seen, people didn't renew their fleet during the pandemic, so now their vehicles are older. They will have to renew it. And something else that has been important and relevant is the Euro 6 technology. This operational cost, this is related to gas, to fuel. With Euro 6, that there has been a reduction in fuel cost. And we have an opportunity to reduce the operational cost. Another point is the Generation 8. From Generation 8, there has been a change. It has raised the bar for the market. This has been known because of its attributes, the ones that are important for the road and tourism sector. And since we have had this, the market can see all these attributes and recognize it. The comfort, design, connectivity, safety. This has been the tonic for the market. Clients who have already purchased G8, they like it and will keep on buying, and the ones who haven't bought it yet, they will for sure, despite the price increase. This is a consolidated move. We have already sold over 4,000 units just in the Brazilian market. We can see them on the roads. This is good when we think about the future. Marcopolo is in different segments, and we have a big part of the market share. We're consolidated. Also in chartering, it remains relevant. Through the pandemic, we have been growing in this segment. And now, after the pandemic, this segment has kept its volumes. The agribusiness and mining also have been supporting it. We are finding solution for the people who work, and this brings us selling good volumes in chartering. In urban, this is a very important segment for us. 40 to 50% of our sales in Brazil come from urban. The renewals have increased. Most large cities have already achieved financial balance in their system. So this is something that the pandemic had hurt us. We were at the bottom, and now there have been discussions. There is a necessity, and consistently we've been renewing. The system has not collapsed, and we can see this consolidation and balance in every city. There is a logic behind it. They have been evaluating cost, understanding what the passengers can pay, and it's been very positive. And because of that, there have been this renewal. This movement for the renewal of fleet starts mainly next year in urban buses. There will be more sales in urban buses. And we've announced this PAC for urban mobility post-election, and there will be a relation of electric compared to diesel of over 5,000 vehicles for 2025. And we are discussing this movement for the main Brazilian cities. This is a traction point for us. We know the urban segment in the coming year will grow. And for micro, this is a little smaller, 7, 8, up to 12 tons. So this is a segment that we consider the size of the vehicle, but also it goes for tourism, for road, for chartering. It has a very specific segmentation, and we can sustain volumes. And the forecast is that there will be a possible growth for 2025. I am not mentioning here the microbus for the school buses, but just for the ones that are mentioned above in this slide. In segment, there has been a tough strategy. One is different chassis partners, and we manufacture just the body, but we also have the whole integral product. So we have both strategies. We have 70% of the market share in private microbuses. And then for the school bus, with the program with the government we've been working on since 2007, this has been a very long-term program. We've been with this program through several different governments, and throughout time we have sometimes 10 and sometimes up to 30% of, of the values. It's a consolidated segment for us in the bus world. And by the end of 2023, when we had the bidding for phase 12, 7,700 units, we had two ways to do it. One was Volkswagen chassis and the no bus body, and that was 5,600 units. And the other one was Volari full, completely full with 2,120 units. We have 57 with 7 items. We've been 4,500 memberships and contracts that are bringing the cities. They we have had more memberships. And for 2025, the perspective is for a similar volume of what was in this year. And there is a perspective of maybe being a little higher. And we've been formalized on the extension of this minute. I also show you a photo from the government website where they say they are committed to continue with this program. Our government organizes this program, but differently from the beginning, where 100% of the sponsorship came from the government. Now they have partners. So part of it comes from the federal government, but most it comes from city sponsors, from the city government. And in this phase of the program, we have more volume because it comes from shared investment, state, city, or federal. I'm also sharing with you our sales network. We have 3 brands. Marcopolo brand, it's our bus body. We have Volari brand that we can offer integral whole solutions. And we have Nelbus network, which is specific for the school buses. For Marcopolo network, we have our own representatives, and with 8 representatives and 7 on branches, and we are present all over Brazil. This works with sales and after sales. When we have these representatives all around Brazil, it works in a positive way. We are gaining market by having this service. We are guaranteeing that we are elevating Marcopolo's standard with sales and with after sales. In Cuiabá, in central Brazil, we have a new unit now We are also opening one in Espírito Santo with a new branch for sales and after sales with new products. And that's an interesting location. Volari's network works close to the automobile industry, having our own dealership in São Paulo, 25 economic groups, and 45 dealerships spread all around Brazil. This is our biggest network. Volari's products are more retail, so that's why we have to have all of these dealerships and support. That's because of selling in retail. Volare has 56% of all registered vehicles. And Nelbos network has 12 representatives. Some are close with Volare network, some with Marcopolo network, and we have 16 service points. That's a strong work of after sales. I also brought something to share with you, some marketing campaigns we had. Last year I mentioned we had started a new moment for our marketing, for Marco Polo's marketing. We started communicating directly with the end user. We want the end user, the passenger, to know our brand. They need to know our products. This is a not at all short journey, but through this program, it has brought consistent results. It can be because of the information now that people have, passengers have information. Passengers now know what a G8 is and they want to travel on a G8. This is very interesting for our clients. Our clients bring it to us. It brings value to our clients. These campaigns are made directly in Marco Polo or in the market, and sometimes with the client. We work with them in different channels, different media channels. It could be social network, TV. Some of the examples are here. We are talking about the bus terminal Tietê, which is in São Paulo and it's the biggest in Brazil. We used a lot of technology, innovation. We reinforced the safety and comfort of our cars. And another one, it's in airports. You can see this one in Congonhas Airport, also in São Paulo. This was in the second semester of this year. When people leave their airplanes in Congonhas, they can see this huge billboard from Marco Polo. Also, we work on the soap opera. We are doing our marketing. We added a bus from Marco Polo and one from Volare in the soap opera, which is very popular in Brazil. And when I mentioned we work closely to the client, the one with Itapemirim is an example. Basically, all of our clients we have worked closely with, it adds value to the client. And we will keep on doing it next year. We already have an updated version of the campaign. We will keep on working on this line with different marketing channels so that we can interact and communicate with the clients from our clients. And lastly, there will be this slide and a video. I want to show you Latbus, which happened from the 6th to the 8th of August this year. This is the largest bus in Latin America, and it's been consolidating itself. It's been growing. We had the largest edition. There were over 22,000 people visiting Latbus, and Marco Polo had a very special moment there. We were the protagonist in the market. We have sold 472 buses just in this fair. This fair started on the same day we were celebrating Marcopolo's anniversary. It was a coincidence, but we celebrated it there. We took the opportunity. All of our clients were there. We have strengthened the relationship with the clients in this event. And we launched our products. We have shown new products. We have shown innovation in the bus body, and things that were new for the market. Like you can see in the videos, like the Fly 12 on a new segment. It's called Super Micro. It will be something in between the bus and the microbus. Also, the hybrid Volare with ethanol. It was amazing being there in the Latbus. It was productive, it was important. This year, with all the celebrations, we are working strongly with our clients in relationship. 20 regional events in the main cities to celebrate with our clients Marco Polo's history, the history of our relationship with clients. This has been touching. In Marco Polo, we have always been strengthening this relationship with clients. Some people have driven 500 kilometers just to be with us in the events. That shows they really like us, they want to be with us. And lastly, I want to share a video of our participation in Lapus. Unfortunately, there has been an issue with the sound of the video. Maybe we can share it later. Thank you. I'm at your disposal if you have any questions. Now you keep on with God. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. I'm sorry I'm not as aligned as you are. I'm joking. My voice is not so good, but I will talk a little bit about international markets and exports. As people have said, our revenue on the first 9 months, it might probably be continued by the end of the year, and we have a participation of international operations. If we consider this 33%, 81% is produced for Latin. We produce for all Latin America, and then we divide 16-17% in MEA, Middle East Africa, Central America, and Mexico. If we take a look on the other side, 72% are coming from international operations, 28 were exports from Brazil. So a positive surprise is about Australia. Almost half of this revenue is coming from there. Then Mexico, Africa, Argentina, and Africa. We have also another purpose for China. We'll talk about that soon. About exports from Brazil, until last month, we had 45% in market share. We have 2 more months to close the year. We're considered the main bodybuilder in Latin America and Africa. Something important, we're focused on the premium product of coach buses. So 73% of our exports volume was coaches and a lot of double deckers. More than 500 double deckers have been exported from here. You're going to see it later. We also have some operations for MEA. Some countries go into political crisis, social crisis, and they are big operations, but it takes long to build this record. But we exported some important units to Kuwait, Qatar, Burkina Faso, and Tanzania. We are now starting to see some new interesting operations soon there. In Latin market, we have a lot of vehicles being sent to Chile, Peru, Uruguay, and we are also exporting to Curacao, and Costa Rica was a very good surprise for this year, more than 100 units there. Some details about product. How, how important is our product? We export double deckers, and I want these pictures to bring some details. Colombia started producing their G8 for the single decker. The double deckers come from Brazil. This is a market we have explored in 2024. On the right, you see from the ETN for Mexico. You will see many vehicles from this batch in the line, and we bring some concepts there that are not yet here. They, their their standing point is that they want to have two toilets. This is something important. For example, they have like a male and a female toilet. They also have some details focused on pets, on having being pet friendly, and we are also making it available. We're standing. This is a standing point. This is something that brings more clients to this vehicle. Peru, it's a big market for double deckers. 190 units were sold there. Companies that are from Canada or North America. So there's a very high level of quality and safety required. It's good to position our prices in this market. It worked really well there. Chile is another market that's important for double deckers. We're going to sell more than 200 units there. Most of them, they are like reclining seats with massage available, individual monitors, because it makes it makes people get attracted to it. We also sent to Ivory Coast. They had the Nations League. Ivory Coast won, and they bought a double decker so they could do the commuting of their national team. So this is a very good marketing for our products. And lastly, we have some vehicles to Argentina. Argentina has always been a very big market for double deckers. We have our local fabrication, but double deckers come from here. You're going to see some of these vehicles in the line here later on. This is a good opportunity. They like our buses. We talked about Maza, it's in South Africa. Our unit is in South Africa. We produce some vehicles there, but our double deckers come from here. We exported many units there. We have some more to be produced in the line. Remember that they have like a right side driver. So we had to develop these things so we could enter with the G8 in that market. We produce these urban buses in São Mateus factory for exports as well. Logistically, we use the chassis that are produced in Resende. That is easier. It's easier to use to make these logistics from Resende, that is in the southeast of Brazil, to Espírito Santo, then to Caxias do Sul. We're going to have 30 more of that white one. And the yellow one you are going to see in the line. We are sending 30 units for this market as well. Considering all the variations we have, not only in product but also in things that happen over the year. So Pablo and Ande mentioned about international operations. The numbers basically tell you everything. If you compare the previous years to these three first quarters, you can see how different these numbers are. In Africa, we had a huge production ramp up. They produced 20 vehicles per month. Now they have more than 40. They are producing urban buses locally, intercity buses as well. They are interconnecting a lot with China. There's a huge jump we could see at Masa, and in 2025 we expect it to be continued. In Argentina, it's a huge jump as well. It's an operation that is very lean and in adherence with us. Continuing, the factory is ready not only to build road buses, but also to resume urban buses segment. This segment is going through a lot of problems. They need renovations, and this factory is going to work on this demand. Australia, you can see it rocketed this year. They've been working strongly with a good connection with China, many products being exported from China to Australia besides components. It was probably the most challenging thing we had to to have this price increase there as well. The agreements we have there are with the government, so it's even harder to discuss. It's 50, 60 years sometimes agreements. In China, we changed the concept we had there. We consider them an export as well. They have huge markets for Australia, for Hong Kong. Now we are starting, but we also understand that they are a huge pillar for global sourcing. Um, Other plants around the world have been using this source strategic partnerships. We have a lot of bodybuilders and chassis manufacturers there too, and having it as a technology hub to bring to bring every modernity we have there. All buses there are electric. We use also nitrogen. They have other propulsions there. In Mexico, we can see good volumes too. They started producing the G8 single decker there, and the double deckers we continue exporting from Brazil for ETN, that client I showed before. And now, looking at Colombia and Canada, they have also shown good growth. I don't have such a close contact with the Canadian unit, but in Colombia I have a good approach. We haven't had a renovation of Transmilenio this year, but for next one we see that coming. It's very positive for us. And looking at our positioning all over the globe, we acquired 100% of the plant in Argentina, so that's the new thing about it. MAC is MAC, South Africa, Australia, Argentina. They are 100% Marcopolo. Polo Max is 74% ours, and Super Polo 50%, and New Flyer 8.1. That's basically it on my end. Do you have any questions? Now it's coffee break. So now 15 minutes break. See you soon. Good morning. I'm Luciano Hesner. I'll talk a little bit about automated processes. But first, let's show you the Latibus video now with audio. Being here celebrating 75 years of history is something that makes us really proud. All people, all stakeholders, journalists, suppliers. It's great. It's a pleasure for us to celebrate with you. The company is investing, developing itself, and becoming, and we are a protagonist in this market. Newness, launches, new propulsions, solutions for decarbonization. We started in electric, and we are learning about other options. This is a one about hybrid, and we consolidate our participation in all segments. The company is looking for the future. We are care about the evolvement and improvement of everything. Let's cheer to Marcopolo and to each one of you. It's a pleasure to be with you here, getting bigger and bigger. I'm sure this is a milestone for our history. It's a specific chapter in our history to be with you here at Letbus. We want to continue celebrating this company over the next 5, 10, 20 years. This is Marcopolo. Marcopolo 75 years. So it's good to start like this. This is a special year for Marcopolo, our 75th anniversary. 9 products and new launches we've had in this fair, in this exhibition. Our hybrid bus of ethanol is going to appear in our roadmap now. It's been very successful and seen very positively by the market, and we believe on the future of ethanol as an option for decarbonization. So I'll talk a lot about our journey in technology, in product and process, as all the previous speakers spoke about, on the revitalization and evolvement of our technologies in products and process. I brought up the last 5 years considering launches and innovations we've been having. In 2018, we had renovations, smaller ones in our portfolio like the new G7, a facelift, a new senior, and the facelift of Volare. Remember, in 2018, we were working strongly with our chassis partners as the biggest bodybuilder in the world, producing and developing bodies only. When we go to 2020, we start to diversify this portfolio. We decided in 2018 that we wanted to develop our own solution for the TV chassis, developed in Brazil with Brazilian engineering, high local content, and software, which is the heart of an electric vehicle, being developed here in the house, which allowed us to add more disciplines into our engineering team. We also had the body from Achieve with a partner. In the middle line, we have developed many alternatives with partners, but we also have our integral bus. In Porto Alegre, it has been performing greatly with great efficiency, much better than our competitors. We also launched the G8, and we've been expanding the Generation 8 international markets. We've been penetrating markets we didn't participate, being an absolute success, considering the double-decker option in all markets. In 2022, we also started with the LD option for double-deckers. It's important to highlight that in the past, when we made these movements, we would do it in 2-3 years. This one, we launched these new families in a short period. We also did the facelift of Attack. This is a market leader in Volare. And with this revitalization, we were able to add sales. We brought more value-added content to the vehicle, and we were able to price it better. We also launched Paradiso LD. In 2023, we renewed Viale Express and our bi-articulated buses for fleet renewal. And we needed that to somehow reduce complexity considering the platforms. In 2023, we also entered the American market with the grant dedicated for shuttle and transportation. It's up to 36 passengers. It's been very well accepted in the American market in this specific segment of shuttle, and it's been exported from Mexico. This year, in 2025, we are generating sales there. In 2023, we also made a move of internalizing some productions of chassis. We have a team of experts in São Paulo with professionals from the automobilistic industry developing it for the Ativi and for the diesel option, which is the RCX V8 version, and starting production. And we also opened Technopolo, which is engineering services for our region here in the northeast of Rio Grande do Sul, considering simulations and other services. It has been providing revenue as well. Moving on, this year in 2024, we had some variants of chassis for micros being developed and launched. The first vehicles are being on the road now. The 3 compositions of the Aero model for Guarulhos. We had the opportunity of seeing it in action, starting their operation soon with Marcopolo's body. It's an interesting project that places us in a different level of certifications, safety electronics. It's an autonomous vehicle. It is driven by a control area that is out of the vehicle. We also had the rear vehicle, the rear engine of Diageo. It's our option for chartering. It was launched this year. And then we concluded the migration of the coaches to G8 family. Chartering segment is a heated market now. And as Bartolomé mentioned, we have Volare Flight 12 that is between the coach and the micro. It's 11.7 meters long, which is in between the road and the micro. Considering tenders, government agreements, this is a vehicle that at Latibus was very well accepted. I also mentioned the HVL by ethanol. This Volare option is We have a small engine by ethanol, 3 cylinders, that works as a producer of power. And we have uh, also the electric propulsion there. It doesn't need a recharging structure. It works only with ethanol. It has an autonomy of 450 kilometers. When it gets into when the reservoir is almost empty, they can just stop by a gas station. We've been working strongly on the Caminhos da Escola program, the school bus program. This is an option for them too. All the researches show that we can reduce more than 60% emission with the use of ethanol. So we believe this is an interesting solution for Brazil. It doesn't need a recharging structure, and we have a good source of ethanol around the country. This we also launched more recently our motorhome in Expo Motorhome in Curitiba. It was a great success. We use most of our platform from Volare with an integral version focused on the motorhome segment that was completely developed and tested for this application. It stands for this informal market where many vehicles are transformed into a motorhome. We have one that is specifically for it. Our engineering team post-pandemic has been restructured, and we've been working a lot on many different subjects, including the renovation of our product portfolio. All that considering our roadmap of technology. It has these 5 strong pillars of sustainable propulsion, on the idea of having a multiplicity of solutions. We are having lots of these coming strongly in capitals. We are looking for decarbonization alternatives by ethanol, hydrogen. It might take a little longer time to mature. Biomethane. We are planning, we have a Volare with biomethane on the road. It's an interesting biofuel. We have a pillar of research and development that is trying to develop new components, new part numbers, new options. One of them is satellite communication. So, because we know that there is not enough Wi-Fi on the road, so they can also use satellite. Many safety items, passive alternatives, passive electronics, passive safety, sorry. G8 is considered the safest vehicle we have in the market. We want to have good performance in safety because we know that there are lots of accidents, crashes on the road. And we, on the other hand, besides being the safest, we are the lightest in the market. So it also saves good amounts of fuel because the vehicle is lighter. So this is a strong reason to have a G8 in our operators fleet. Also talking about manufacturing 4.0, I will talk a lot on efficiency of manufacturing efficiency, machinery efficiency, manufacturing equipment efficiency, execution system for electric vehicles, the new generations that are being developed. The new interior area of Achieve has been launched. We revitalized it. We brought up more value to this. The G8 RHD, as guys mentioned before, and other platforms under development, considering all our segments, micro, chartering, coach, bringing more technology and adding more value to our vehicles. And also talking about diversification, we have Marcopolo Rail. So besides these vehicles to Guarulhos, we are providing vehicles to Chile. They also have this Marco additive. Volaris celebrate 25 years. It was the first vehicle we had additive Marco there. We improved a lot in the tooling for them, and the motorhome I have already mentioned. Important to have a strong pillar in the development of softwares. This is something strategic for us. We want to have this onboard software to support all this technology. We have been migrating these technologies over the last 2 years, bringing up a lot of innovation and using artificial intelligence and our platform of the 3DX. We have been applying a lot of AI in all these pillars, not only with the products, but also in production processes. I will bring you an example very quickly about one of these innovations of research and development, the project Forma, which changes the building way, the way we build the structure in order to make our production more flexible. So it basically have rivets on the connections, and we are now validating it in the physical validation, and we're deciding over which ones we are going to start with. This brings a lot of value to manufacturing and a lot of innovation too. Talking about automated processes, we have been working strongly in the process automation. We produce a lot of customized and personalized products. Sometimes each unit is unique, but we need to produce in high volumes. We can produce more than 60,000 seats a month. And we have a lot of options, a lot in our portfolio. So we need to generate more efficiency by automating things. It adds to competitivity, it reduces costs, it mitigates safety risks to our people. The high level of automation also raises quality indexes. And we are carefully in the idea of also reducing the variability of processes. So we can also generate a high level of customization without losing this opportunity of automation. I'm going to talk briefly about each one of the plants. This is the map of the unit where we are in Aheki. Our focus is mostly on the fabrication center that is close by here. So as you can see, we have the fabrication center that's a few meters from here. The seats, we automated a lot of processes there. It's 95% automated in seats, pre-assemblies, and also the flammable center. We have been investing strongly to consolidate all the flammable items and automate it to the best, so we can also control it very well. These are some examples of machinery about tube cutting, about the cut of sheets, about the chairs, the chair welding. We can produce a very wide range of options with a single robot. It has been developed in the house, so we have more flexibility for welding. We are having more than 70% of innovation there. We've been advancing strongly on it. The flammable central, It's an important investment for the safety and the security of our plant. With this center, we can automate and control things remotely, all the parameters. Many flammable products we use nowadays are stocked there. Besides safety, we also automated processes, reduced the consumption of raw material because some of the loads and unloads were made in person. We also invested in the automation of the harness factory. We produce our electric harnesses in the house. So it elevated to more than 60% automation. Talking about the plant in São Cristóvão, we've been investing in robots for cutting robots with water jets. We have been improving the finishing of these internal items. The cutting used to be done manually of all the openings, and now we've implemented this robot that will improve quality and efficiency of this process, and also the process of PU injection that reduces even weight on buses, on the bodies. Talking about São Mateus, it's our newest plant. We see a huge growth coming up, considering hybrid vehicles, the production of chassis, the diesel chassis that we produce, they will be produced there. We have been investing in the expansion of these 32,000 square meters. These lighter areas of the logistics and PDI that you can see are going to be specifically for the electric vehicles, and also having a specific place for the warehouse of batteries. So it does not impact the other areas of the plant. And talking about electric vehicles, revitalizing everything needed and new technologies. These are some images of this construction that we've been building there. We expect to finish this first phase in the first quarter of 2025. By the end of the first semester, to consolidate these improvements in efficiency of the plants. The new logistics and finishing center, a new chassis assembly line to produce as much as we need. Also, the warehouse of batteries, it needs to have a lot of safety involved. We are using an international standard to build this area. This is a recent picture of the jigs that are ready to produce these of the ATV electric vehicles. The state of Espírito Santo has been investing highly on electrics. And now I bring you a video of some of these processes. So you can see some of these robots working, considering upholstery. As I mentioned to you, we have a lot of things in seats. Welding is another key point. Tube bending. With these tools, we can substitute 3 machines to 1. It's more efficient and more productive. Laser cutting of sheets. 100% of these cuts are being done by laser cutting. Laser welding on stainless steel. Finishing of flaps. Harness machines with very high efficiency. Laser cutting machines with very precise cutting. And the connection I mentioned before, considering the 3DX platform, uh, makes us connect directly to these machines. We can program offline the designs from the project directly to the production machine. So that's it on my end. Thank you very much. I'm available for your questions.
Good morning. Morning, everyone. I'm gonna help José Luis. I'm also recovering from a sore throat. So we're going to go really quick today because then we have the questions and answers and lunch. The good thing is I'm just here to reinforce all the messages you have already heard today, especially when we talk about the evolution of our strategy. We're talking about electrification, and more, we're talking about decarbonization. And I'm going to talk about it. This is part of the evolution of our roadmap for innovation and for the diversification of our businesses. I like this slide a lot, and I need to say very little about it. But it is nice because it shows what the decarbonization is. When we look at the transition moment of the energy, we had been talking about all of these elements, and that's different. It is different from the impact of what we have. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. But the main message here is that Marcopolo understands this transition, that this is different from what we used to, and we have initiatives using partnerships. We are well positioned in all of them. When we talk about electrical vehicles, we have to extend it to the hybrid with ethanol. It has electric traction, or hydrogen for the future. When we talk about fuels, we can think about battery. The battery technology is very important. So, in order for it to work, we need a combination of all of these factors. I need to have sustainable mobility being economically doable, and everything has been evolving well. We need to have a better energetic efficiency and life cycle. We have an experience with thousands and thousands of electric buses in the road, but we need to consider the autonomy of the battery. It, the life cycle of the battery is from 8 to 10 years. And with an electric vehicle and combined with other solutions, our challenge is looking at the life cycle of 15 years, 12 to 15 years. That's a challenge for us. And here we want to face new challenges. We have the first use of the battery, and more companies and this ecosystem, they want to think about the correct waste destination of these materials. We will have this need in the future. The second point I want to talk about is the expectation of the fleet renewal. São Paulo has the ambition of renewing 14,000 buses until 2037, and the technology for every vehicle should be safe. We have domain over technology, so we need planning and investments. And currently, we see that most part of cities in our clients' operation, they have low tension energy, and to transform the low tension to high tension energy, it involves the public power, the energy companies, and we have to work preventively because we need time and investments. The chargers and the charging stations, they have to be available for the end user. We know about the technology, but it has to be available. So I'm talking about the planning. And we need to think about how this transition is going to happen in a quick way. And we are starting to see it happening in São Paulo City. The third element I bring are the financing models, because it's already been said the electric vehicle or the hydrogen vehicle or ethanol vehicle, it has an acquisition cost that can be 3 to 5 times higher when I compare it to diesel. But I have to finalize this life cycle. And the role of the financing model is really important. What we see when we talk about investment funds, we check how the Brazilian government is thinking about decarbonization. Our government has had an effective participation in it with strong policies to finance cleaner vehicles. At the bottom, you can see a lot of technology that goes on board. We're talking not only about the mechanical part, but the softwares that come to mature these technologies in the market and with all makers. The logic is behind what we see on our daily lives, and this makes a difference for us to keep on providing, as Marcopolo, the best offer, the best TCO for this product's life cycle. Next, I believe everyone follows this segment. Everyone understands there is not one technology only. We cannot have sustainable solutions for mobility with one solution only. So here, in a simple way, I'm showing you in a practical way how Marco Polo really works their strategy for decarbonization. So the products we have been presenting to you, they are all here. They all bring these greener solutions. We don't believe in one solution for electric only. This is just some of the examples I have. Here, it can be through our partners or our own. We are developing and we are well positioned being a protagonist in finding the solutions. I would like to highlight the platform we presented in Latvia with the ethanol that is hybrid. It, we showed it in Avolari. Potentially in the future, we can have derivations for the rest of the portfolio. I guess I showed you this slide last year. This is our strategy. And also we talk about propulsions. The importance of this segment, this Volare. Volare is a division of the company that has a different business from Marco Polo. Marco Polo is more focused on the bus body, but this has a great participation in volume in the market. We have around 60% for microbuses, 60% market share makes it really important. Our portfolio is really big. Maybe it is a more executive vehicle, different sizes and capacities, and our integral platform. It is initially diesel propulsion with Euro 6, but we also have hybrid and hybrid ethanol, and we have other technologies in our manufacturing. And I want to highlight that this complements the current chassis portfolio we have, and we will keep on having with our current partners. And if I think about a timeline, we had been in the final part of the development of the product, and we market aligned with the market, and we have very positive results. The product is very effective in the market, and it shows the same behavior or a superior behavior of what is currently in the market. And starting next year, we start the first phase with the attack and diesel lines. We will start bringing the first decarbonated vehicle, Fly 10 electric, and then we'll be migrating in the next years for the second and third phases. Luciano also mentioned Marcopolo Rail. We have 3 projects, and I would like to highlight these 5 years. Marcopolo Rail turns 5 years now in December, and it's been 3 main projects here that show the evolution of this company. Our first product shows, and it is operating, and that's what we call Pampas. It's a region in Rio Grande do Sul, this state. It connects a touristic area. People visit vineyards in the area of Santana do Livramento. Our second train project was we were in a tender and we delivered 3 compositions to Guarulhos Airport. That's the biggest airport in Brazil. In this segment, they call it just a box. They don't call it a body. They call it a box. So we delivered these, and Marcopolo has its brand in the biggest logistic hub in America, in Latin America. And the project we are about to deliver now is the Prosper Intercity. It's for EFE trains in Chile. There is a lot of technology in it. There is a continuous evolution here. I would think the main message here is this is a great opportunity for diversification. Marcopolo has been growing with this business slowly and steadily, as it makes sense for us to have this evolution. So I really would like to highlight that the learning curve we need to have here regarding technology is really a lot of work. And we have been learning the differences between this and the bus process. Also, I would like to mention Nomad. I'm not sure if everyone has seen the news on medias, but before presenting Nomad, I would like to mention how it was created and thought of. Last year, I talked about MVP. This is a community. They are all volunteer members. They are from all parts of the company. André mentioned Marcopolo has as a value bringing people together. This is a company made by people and for people, so we need to find solutions for people. And it's nice because we started this MVP during the pandemic in a hard moment for us. And now we have over 750 volunteer members. They are all very engaged in one or another initiative. And this represents 7% of all of our employees in Brazil. We have several initiatives in this program. I would like to highlight that this year, a program we called Academy, where there is an exchange. We brought Ouro e Prata client, and they were inserted in our business, and we were immersed in their business, so we can develop and learn how to develop solutions for whatever pain our client has. And these people, they keep on promoting connections with the startups. And we are going to open innovation through borders. And through the MVP program, we had the idea to develop, and it was approved. And it's a great satisfaction because it was in a record time. The engineering team, in less than a year, Marcopolo's engineering team developed this really innovative product. This was presented on November 13th. We had we were part of a tender, and we have found new opportunities. This is opening doors for Marcopolo. There is an opportunity for diversification, which is really interesting. There are synergies to our core business. It's a small market in Brazil, but we see opportunities in Marcopolo to make this market bigger. Then I'll give you the opportunity to ask questions. I'll invite the board of directors, including Baliati, to come, and we will have questions and answers. Let's get started. Please say your name, and we can have up to 2 questions per person. Good afternoon for the presentation. When Pablo spoke and Luciano as well, there is a there is something about the factory processes and the portfolio mix. There are issues, mostly in fabrications. It goes to assembly, and it's a very complex process. Sometimes it's not possible to automate things. What is the competitive advantage of the company thinking about products? Is it engineering, market research, people training, process?
I'll start. Thank you for your question. The main standing point is what the market requests. A customized product with robustness level that's very high, and all the variability the client needs. Relationship Marcopolo offers to this client. Built years and factory and people trained to deliver that. Marcopolo is one of our main unique selling points. Its capacity of customization, understanding what clients need, and our after sales service. When we see eventual competitors entering the Brazilian market, we see how difficult that is to have a robust product to this market with the variability requested and having an after sales that can support and care for this market. This is not something we can build quickly, it takes time. For you to be prepared, considering a factory to meet these demands, besides investment, you need people. So, hiring people is complex. It's always harder to have people, competitors, finalize they would have higher funds and they weren't able to meet those because it's been very hard to train, hire and train these people, these new people. Um, you have seen some jumps we have had with these automated processes. Thank you for your question. I would also highlight two things. First, Marco Polo is 75 years of experience developing in the for the Brazilian market and international markets. We have huge expertise of regulations of all these markets about tenders and agreements so we can answer and meet demands very quickly and constantly for most of these tenders. So our engineering expertise is strong so we can answer quickly all these customization needs. We've been improving in technology, considering engineering to develop things faster, the solutions faster to all the markets, adding more subjects and more like softwares and chassis and other things. So for sure, we are a huge power from design, concept development, prototyping, the capability of quick prototypes to be validated, structure of tests in Farroupilha, validation tests. Our internal lab has been certified by Inmetro recently, so we can do that in the house without having partners working for us. It provides us a lot of quick response. So our production processes also are another point to highlight because the solutions we showed you, they were customized for us. From a seed cell with 35 different models, some machinery, we could see that we couldn't find these solutions in the market. So we started developing processes in here that we can replicate not only in Brazil but also in our international operations. So these two pillars and these 75 years of experience place us ahead of others. We have the safest product in the market and the client knows that. They see that and they pay for it for these uh, for this different product. My second question is about international operations. You you had some cases that didn't work well. So you had centralized engineering here. not in these international operations. I could say WEG is a great example of internationalization. As I could understand, you want to do it differently, to use China as a hub, not as an assembly plant, to provide tooling and also reduce costs abroad. Uh, what does it mean to do everything in the house here from Brazil and have this exponential um, positioning in the international market? Marcopolo has a good level of local suppliers, products, and verticalizations in each one of these plants. We talk a lot about Brazil, but we have learned that for you to produce what you need with low volumes compared to other segments, you need to have uh, solutions locally. We also send kits abroad if necessary. You are going to see our fabrication center. It's impressive, the structure that meets not only the needs from Brazil, but also Colombia, South Africa, Mexico, and Argentina. But our composition is very balanced between having a local uh, need in each one of these operations and also as as Marco Polo, we need to be robust considering structure and engineering. We need to be certified to have feasible tests and have global certifications. So there are lots of developments we do from Brazil, and one of the advantages and consequences, among others, for our international growth is exactly this integration among these teams. When you look at finance, strategy, or engineering, these teams they are very well integrated between the plant in Brazil and each one of the geographies we operate. It wouldn't it wouldn't be good to have 75 years of experience here but not good results in other operations abroad. In practice, processes are verticalized. What we don't have as strongly as we have from here are research and development hubs. In Australia, we have vehicles with different characteristics made in aluminum, where you have a high level of possible oxidation, where Australia is inserted. In all the other markets we operate, we have verticalized processes. Something that we can highlight and something we stand out for is our supply chain, local supply chain that provide us agility and producing our orders in quick enough, bringing solutions to our clients in the best way. This is a premise we have. And something we've been saying about models that have worked or haven't worked, what we see is that the models that didn't work out were business models that were connected to volume and low cost. And what we see that the product we deliver with all the customized items we give our in our buses, they are related to a business model where we focus on profitability. So when we think of this investment, it's connected to companies that didn't get into the business model that is focused on profitability, but to volume. And this is what took us to make the decision of leaving Egypt and also leaving India.
Good morning. I'm Lucas Marchiori. Thank you for the reception. I have just one question. It is related to the mindset of the team which was presenting today. Andres' speech, Pablo's speech, spoke about the mindset change, about positioning our prices in the market. I remember coming here, visiting Marcopolo in different events. 2014, 2015, we could see that it had shown how much they wanted as a target in ROIC, and now I can see it's a lot more. So my question is, how do you explain to the investor that we are not getting there at the end of the party? What do you want to see? What is the reference from the past? How is this differently structured? I would like to hear from you how you see it. Thank you. It's been a mindset change for real. What I have been using in my speech is that we've been innovating, bringing technology solutions. We have been creating and generating value, and we weren't translating this value into pricing. And what happened before the pandemic, in all those years of investments, was an increase in capacity volumes, but then the market shrank. Several competitors couldn't keep up, and they had to close their companies. During the pandemic, there was also a huge increase in price, and we had to take it to the client. So we saw an opportunity to readjust to the capacity. It was very hard for us to hire labor, so it's hard to offer the product, and we have been delivering a product with value. This is part of the discussion, right? We're talking about automation, research and development. Everything we add to the product had to be reflected in pricing, and we did this movement, and we had something in mind. It was the need to recover results. We were one of the businesses, the sectors that suffered the most with the pandemic. People didn't want to be together in a bus during the pandemic. So there was a need, there was an internal change, a strong one. Ricardo mentioned this before. We understood it was needed to translate it into price. That's for the financial health of our company. What happened through time was that we had to make choices, and we opted for keeping the clients who were willing to pay for G8. When I talk about road, for example, this way we got a distribution, a better distribution in our production. Different companies have bought from us. Some of the clients who at first were refusing to pay for this increasing price, they could see the value of our products just a few months or a year later. And clients who hadn't bought from us, Ricardo showed us, now they are with us again, anyways. So it's been a necessary change. The market dynamic has changed. The positive part of it, Lucas, is that we create more and more solutions for our clients. We have the recognition of the value because they are paying more, and we can reinvest in our business to keep on aggregating value. We want to bring more people to the system. When we launched Bio6, BioSafe, now we know that passengers want to be with us. The company is working differently. We can see efficiency as a growth pillar, international operations as a pillar. This growth, this continuous growth in volume, let me share the mic with my colleagues. Also, I would complement that this process is choosing not to go on with projects that were not bringing us revenue. Also, we've been working more and more on bringing us in a structured way to the clients to find a way for them to see the value of our client of our product. We worked on TCO, on the attributes. I mentioned how we worked directly with the client to reach the end user, to reach our client's client. This is part of the value that we are intensifying for the client. What we see is that the client, most of them, they have valued it. The ones that hadn't valued it immediately, they did it later. Everyone has been back with us. Most clients are with us or are about to come or negotiating. We didn't have any impacts in market share. We have really changed this mindset. There, when there was no impact in market share, we knew we were on the right way with this change. When we look into the future, the way we're doing, we understand that we are on the right way, aggregating value, reinforcing everything our product has, being close to the client and the end user. That's the way we see for the future. When we think about business that were not so profitable, we turned it around and now they are becoming more profitable. We can't keep on working with things that are not profitable for the company. And this way, with this recent changes and this consolidation, we see we are on the right way, on the right path. Also, our market is a market of recurrent purchases. Clients buy a bus once, sometimes twice a year. So having this relationship with the client, being really close to them, we have been intensifying these relations. We are coding this relationship. What brings value to my client? Is it the product? Is it something we do together? We've been looking forward to being closer and closer to the client. And this way, our partners, the ones that are really close to us, they effectively get ready for better benefits, to keep on being present in this relationship. We want to be close to them. We want to look at us and look at them and their clients so that they can benefit from this partnership. Thank you for the event. I have two questions. The first one is about Chin- Chinese people in Brazil. When we talk about integral product, this integral product was not really good for Brazil. So with BYD, they went into just chassis. We have other big names trying to work with integral solutions. So what is your view about the Chinese? Is it a complement with China? Are we doing this chassis? Who is your main competition? And my second question is about the electric bus. This was really interesting. Could you please talk a little more about the electric bus chain? The first Activi that were being manufactured maybe had some battery questions, battery life questions. I would like to know more about the challenge in price, which I believe is the biggest challenge in the electric. How can we reduce price from here onwards? How can you see these changes in the chain to make the price go down? Thank you for your question. I believe everyone can contribute. It's not only. I would like to highlight the Brazilian market. We have a barrier, a technical barrier. Every time we talk to a Chinese manufacturer, you see, we have a good relationship with the Chinese manufacturer. And with this transformation in the integral electric car, but it's really complicated for some Asian manufacturers to provide to Brazil. When we have a national brand and then we have some challenges in norms because we may have a national norm that is different from a state norm, from a city norm. The city of Curitiba in Brazil has a very specific norm. So this makes it difficult for the Chinese competitors. They can't really understand the differences in the markets in Brazil because in China everything is different. The government decides and there is one purchase. So it's a different business model. We have private businesses working. I believe this is one aspect. And the second is that currently Marcopolo is very respected. We are among the 3 or 5 best manufacturers in the world. So it brings respect. People want to be close to Marcopolo. We have great technology, we have a good portfolio with several products developed with big names and even with international brands of chassis. They look for us, they want to be close to us. They want to bring their chassis so that we can work together. We want to be alert, as we've been mentioning. 75 years in the market in Brazil, we are really strong. Ricardo mentioned it already. Clients recognize us. And this makes the Chinese also look at us. They look at us as a partner, not as a competitor. I'm going to let the other people speak as well. But we have a very mature technology and a good chain. We have room for electric vehicle in Brazil, for producing it more and more, but we need to find solutions for a long life cycle. We have TCO calculations that show the cost reduction in maintenance, warranty. This company will be more expensive at first, but cheaper when I think long term. We have and we offer products with several manufacturers. We have for powertrain, for engines. We have solutions for many things. And also, when we think about decarbonization, we have the best partners, globally speaking, in order to keep the best offer. Volume here is still not that big, but slowly we are sure it's going to increase. I would like to compliment that for integral vehicles, the reason why they come for us is our know-how. João mentioned that the Brazilian norms are very specific, and this is really hard for the Chinese. The specifications, the local norms make it hard for them how they can apply the product. Some things are really hard because we're talking about different quality of road. So we have been building it throughout the last decades. It is really hard for them. Also, just parts distribution is also very hard for them, and we have ways to do it. We have developed parts with local chain all over Brazil. The part and maintenance of this, the reposition parts, for them it would take like 4 months to bring something to Brazil, and we have it there on the spot. So yeah, that makes us better. And when I talk about electric, we see the evolution. Our car, our electric vehicle has 60% of local content. The operator can easily have their maintenance done, suspension, drivability, doors, mechanisms, everything is, I'm mentioning, is very important for the operator. They need to find on the spot solutions. We still have opportunities to improve even more. WEG is our partner. They've been developing battery packs locally. There is evolution for high tension items. We currently have European international solutions, but we are already nationalizing it. Batteries is still our challenge, importing it from Asia, but we see the movement for local assembly, for customization. We are creating customized packs. We can do it in very different ways. This is the trend. The trend is to grow it in local content. OEMs are requesting it as well. Good morning. I am Angelo, and my question is, we have seen that Marcopolo and Aheke is really packed already. You have used all the space, but in São Mateus you have room for more. You have talked about Polari, exportation of urban buses, and new technologies. How do you see São Mateus and what relevance São Mateus can have in the future? I'll let Pablo answer first. As Luciano said, this the most modern factory is this one. We have road, her urban, heavy, rare engine urbans. They are manufactured here. The other one across the street, São Cristóvão, you're going to see the light urban and microbuses. And in São Mateus, we're talking about light urbans and microbuses, and we start having the electrification and chassis because of the investments. Part of the investment was not only for the expansion and changing layout for performance and efficiency, but also to know how we are going to have the electric bus. Our structure here is not big enough, so we are working. It's important what you asked. We are working on that. We need to be able to have a factory which, when there is a low volume of electric buses, they will be able to manufacture something else. We need to have our bus body, chassis, electric, everything being made in one plant only. So this factory is going in this direction, being an alternative. Of course, this portfolio can be expanded, but we are starting this way thinking exactly about future demand and how we can be flexible so we don't stop having qualified employees. We need to have a good rhythm. We need to have buses being manufactured. What we have to try is is know about future demands. Thank you for your question. I think it's interesting. São Mateus is really big. We will soon be finishing another building there. We have 75 hectares of land there. This is a strategic asset we have when we talk about risk management. If we have everything concentrated in one plant only, it is not sustainable. This is a way for us to have a factory which allows us, under any circumstances, we can expand. It's not the plan right now. Now we're talking about improvements so that we are more productive and add the manufacturing of chassis and electric vehicles. We are structuring the line thinking about employee safety. We see this asset as a strategic one. We know there we have the potential, if needed, to expand lines. But we're not adding it to our investment roadmap. It's strategic. I would like to mention that in Anaheke, okay, as he said, São Mateus is strategic. But I mentioned about the flammable center here. This helps manage all of our flammables strategy. If you go there, you can see the transformation just to use the area. We thought we cannot build extra. The example I gave was substituting 3 machines for one. You were opening up space for efficiency, for improving it, for having a better square meter productivity. We need to take advantage of everything we have because here we deal with heavy vehicles. Our main focus has to be in investments that will improve efficiency. Good morning. I am from Banco Safra. I would like to ask about the backlog for the external orders. Do you still have something to deliver about the scenario? Could you please explain? Thank you. Yes, thank you for your question. Exportation and internal market. We are already looking into models for April next year for chartering in the internal market. And We are programming the sequencing. We will stop for 3 weeks from Christmas break until the 13th, and then on the 13th, full speed because the OEMs also stop. So we have to be aligned with them. We need on the 13th of January to be working full speed. And talking about exportation, it's well structured. A lot of road buses. That's not our normal exportation, but it's been the orders we got. And we expect 25 as a better year exportation wise than 24 was. We may have special projects 80% of Latin America and also in the Emirates or Africa. There has been a lot of opportunities and there will be more. This helps the production because we can start playing the game in a better way. We understand where to place the products inside the factory, and they will bring better value to the company. All of our factories will stop. Argentina won't stop actually because they will stop in February only. But most of our units stop on the Christmas break. For next year, we think that Argentina will be our biggest surprise. We have some vehicles that start being manufactured here and they finish manufacturing in Argentina. Our international operations are stable. There are opportunities in efficiency for having more production, but we see they will, in 2025, international operations will be very positive. The backlog we had has been delivered, especially in Australia. New Flyer has still some details, but all are clean. Morning, everyone. My name is Souza. Congratulations on your performance. My question is about the impact that whatever change Brazil's finances bringing. Thanks for your question. We've been following everything very closely. What we can see is that there will be 132 and everything in the tax reform is being well worked in the Brazilian Congress. They are bringing transportation as a necessity. In the original text, they lower the tax, and along the Congress discussions, we can see that the law project that brought this tax reform was extended in the text that they are bringing and showing. They are extending it for the road as well, not only public transportation. They are receiving, collaborators are receiving a better care. And if they keep these in the tax reform text, in the Brazilian Senate, we will see the Brazilian transportation system improving. And when we talk about manufacturers, we see that there has been approved as a basic right. Transportation is a basic right for Brazilians approved by law. This is an interesting scenario for us. we may have less tax, but it is still not decided. We were hoping that there would have been a decision made by the government yesterday, but it was not. So probably next Monday we are expecting how our Brazilian Senate is going to vote. Up to now, we are following up closely their discussions. It looks like it's favorable to all employees to have it as a basic right. Good morning, everyone. I would like you to mention more about the growth pillars, efficiency, international operations. I would like to understand when you know about your pillars, what would you consider for 2025? Thank you, Andrea. I think this morning we discussed the opportunities we face and challenges we face. The sustainability of the business is always a challenge. So we would like to effectively to really complete and fulfill the projects we mentioned. We see the potential in international operations. Our challenge is in Argentina. It has always been a traditional market. Many years they were the main market. They have 37,000 buses in Argentina on the roads. Urban buses, about 30,000 buses. Just in Buenos Aires, they need a huge fleet renewal. So we can see this potential. It seems that there is more credit in Argentina. The market is recovering. But if we look short term, what can bring results to us is Argentina. Then we will have different challenges. Efficiency is one, something related to new products, and we will have a construction that has been happening, and we are working hard on that. We've been investing to improve our assembly and production lines, but it's not something that happens overnight. We have issues with customization, so sometimes numbers can fluctuate. We're thinking short term. What can bring us results? Argentina and a more stable scenario. Good morning, everyone. I come from XP. Thanks. Quick question. You talked about Nomad. It's still brand new, but I would like to understand how you want to commercialize it. Or is it a mass sales or customization? How do you see this market? Are you selling it to end users? Yeah, how did you study this motorhome market? I believe, first of all, it's a learning curve for us. We see it. Nomad looks like a bus. It reminds us of the Volare. We use the concept for building a bus, but it's a house. So it's a house on wheels. So we had to bring different assets and we had to understand the client's need. When we talk about capital goods, a motorhome is not only a capital good, it's also something people dream of, people really wish. So the structuring of this project was something that we were careful. It had to make sense for the client to reinforce our position in the market. So we have references, especially in the US for motorhome. The reality is different. In the US, they are even in the stock market and they are billion-dollar companies. We have a very niche market. It's for people who like adventure, off-road, 4x4. And we would like to bring through Marcopolo this competitiveness in a very formal business. We really studied this to understand the potential. And I would say with Marcopolo, we can grow in this market. After the pandemic, a lot of people wanted to connect to nature, wanted to change their lifestyle. And Nomad is our first step to understand the expectations of clients. And we want to help this market grow. We want to bring more people to the public transportation. And also, here we have this opportunity to bring more people to the motorhome segment. And maybe we will also see different opportunities in the future, but I don't want to speculate about the future. I'd like to compliment currently the companies which manufacture motorhomes take a year and a half. So we see there is a market and people cannot fulfill it. And I would like to highlight Volare and Marcopolo. You can see this one I'm pointing. This vehicle created something that didn't exist before. We brought new ways of mobility. And now 60% of this market. And we have years and years of history. So we see a diversification. We are not reinventing the wheel, of course not. But we have the knowledge. Most of our competition have to buy a bus and transform it into a motorhome. We can create a motorhome from scratch with the knowledge of creating buses. Our challenge here is in price. What's the size of this market? We still don't know. It's hard to say, but we know we can do it well. We can manufacture it. And we have endless possibilities because we have all kinds of buses. We have double deckers. Rail also has this role. João has shown us it's a small born company. We are not fighting with high speed trains, for example. It's an in the house born project. We have a lot of knowledge already. We understand the needs that are specific. We understand about flammability, the restrictions for welding. I can go a step further with a lower investment and I learn more. And then I can also bring the best practice from rail to the bus. If you think long term, train can be a competition for the bus. Some people talk that people in Brazil want to change buses for tram like it happens in Europe. So we have the knowledge. If we talk about price, we are promoting solutions. We are being protagonists. We are being sustainable. And all of our steps are related to the previous one. We are not creating flying cars. We are doing something that is related to our business. We see opportunities. Time will tell the size of this business. Last question now. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm from Santander. I have a question about electric. I would like to focus on 2025. I'm thinking about the discussions we have with the government. What is the infrastructure? Who is the responsible? And the differentiation. Tell us about this electric engine. Thank you. As I mentioned briefly, one positive aspect is that the planning of infrastructure, the investments, while we do not have the advancement in this, we will see small but important volumes. And soon we will see the maturity in this market. This is the main topic. As Marcopolo, we are looking at the whole system, developing partnerships, alliances, supporting and getting support on what's possible, and we keep our eyes open for new technologies. We look at bioethanol. We need to find a more competitive, a cheaper solution, maybe with less batteries, something that becomes cheaper, and we don't depend so much on infrastructure. So it's still going to take a while, but it's growing. We see higher volumes starting in 2025 and a forecast for growth from 25 onwards. And we see that the competition has not been that advanced in their solutions. So we need also to keep in mind decarbonization. I would like to mention the financing of this. What we have seen is that the operator wants it, but she have to go slowly, and they need a project where they need to look at it long term. The the recovery of these investments is slow. So we need the help of the government, the public power. We need to work with this wave of green fuels, new propulsions, and the operator is our agent because they get subsidies for their operation, or when the government buys the electric buses for public transport. When we talk internationally and in Brazil, our main market is here. We see the Brazilian bank BNDES helping financing with electrification, the rural bank and the city ministry as well. They are supporting, they've already published something mentioning all the cities that would have interest. And in this context, when the government talks to the operators, they are drawing the ideal scenario. What we can see is São Paulo created a very well structured model. They have the help of the BNDES Bank. Buses are purchased by the operator, and the operator has to pay 1/3 of the investment and the government 2/3. In this context, the operator is spending the same amount as he he would spend for a diesel vehicle. And they will have a reduction in operational cost and make the money back compared to the diesel. It's not a definite solution. We don't know what's going to happen in each of the cities here, but it's what has been working. People were pleased with this way up to now. They also want to own an electric vehicle. They have their own maintenance. They know about the life cycle. We need to guarantee that there won't be a lot of problems for them in this life cycle. So we need to have this drawn model and it accepted by operators. There will be a lot of possibilities, especially from the federal government. As I was saying, last Friday they were signing the contract between the bank, the government, and Nunes to get 1,300 electric buses for São Paulo City. And you can see that there is an alignment. And in this drawing, things have to flow. And then automatically, in the government words, what they say they want is to use the list they have created from all the cities that are interested in electrifying their fleet. So, financing lines, we have solutions, and we just have to align the operator and the local government to have this electrification process be sustainable, especially for the operator. Thank you. This is the end of questions and answers. Thanks again. So now we're going to the bus.